Chapter 34. In this world of ours, the activity of animal life seems to be limited to a plane or circle, as if that were the inherent necessary to the creatures of a planet which is perforce compelled to swing about the sun. A fish, for instance, may not pass out of the circle of the sea without creating a hallucination. A bird may not enter the domain of the fish without paying it for it daily. For the parasites of the flower to the monsters of the jungle and the deep, we see clearly circumspect nature of their movements, the emphatic manners in which life has limited them to spare, and we are uh, content to note the ludicrous and invariably fatal results which attend any effort on their part to depend from their environment. In the case of man, however, the operation of this theory and limitation has not as yet been so clearly observed. The laws governing our social life are now not so clearly understood as the primate of a clear generation. Still, the opinions, pleas, and judgment of society zero as boundaries which are not nonetheless real of being intangible. When men or women or that is passed off from the sphere in which they are accustomed to move, it is not as if the bird had included itself into the water or the wild animal into the haunts of man. A hallucination is not the immediate result. People may do not more than elevate their eyebrows of astonishment, laugh, and sarcastically lift up their hands to protest. And yet, so well defined is the spirit of social activity that he who departs from it's a doomed born and dread in this environment. The individual is particularly unfitted for any other state. He is like a bird accustomed to a certain destiny of atmosphere and which cannot live comfortably at either higher or lower level. Lester sat down in his easy chair by the window after his brother had gone and gazed ruminatively out over the flourishing city. Yonder was spread out before him, life with its uh, concomitant phases of energy, hopes, uh, prosperity, and pleasure. And here he was suddenly struck by the wind of misfortune and blown aside for the time being. His protests and proposals dissipated. Could he continue as cheerily in the paths he had hitherto pursued? Would not his relationship with Jenny necessarily affected by this sudden height of opposition? Was not his own home now a thing of the past, so far as his old easy-going relationship was concerned? All the atmosphere and unstained affection would be gone out of it now. That here's the look of approval which used to dwell in his father's eyes. Would it be there any longer? Robert's relations with the um, manufacturer, everything that was part of his old life had been affected by this sudden instruction of Louis. It's unfortunate was all that he thought to himself, and therewith tumult for that he considered senseless. Brought into the consideration of what if anything was able to be done. I'm thinking I'd take a run up to Mr. Clemens tomorrow or Thursday. Anyhow, if I feel strong enough, he said Jenny after he returned. I am not feeling as well as might. A few days will do me good. He wanted to get off by himself, and think Jenny packed his bag for him at the given time and departed, but he was in a sullen, meditative mood. During the week that followed, he had ample life to think it's all over. The result of cogitations being that there was no need to making this decisive move at present. A few weeks more, one way or the other, could not make any practical difference. Neither Robert nor any other member of the family was at all likely to seek another conference with him. His business relation would necessarily go on as usual, since they were coupled with the welfare of the manufacturer. Certainly no attempt to coerce him would be attempted, but the consciousness that he was all hopeless variance with his family waited upon him. Bad business. He meditated a bad business, but he did not change. For the period of a whole year, this unsatisfactory state of affairs continued. Lester did not go home for 6 months. There's an important business conference demanding this presence. He appeared and carried it off quite as though nothing important had happened. His mother kissed him affectionately, uh, if a little sadly. His father gave him his customary greeting, a hearty handshake. Robert Louis Amy Imogen's concertedly, without any verbal understanding, agreed to ignore the one real issue, but the feeling of estrangement was there, and it persisted hereafter. His visits to Cincinnati were as few and far between as he could possibly make them.